So what we lost is the value of an original, the value of the ownership of something. And the blockchain has this beautiful power that can bring back in the digital moment of the age of information the value of owning a piece of information, which can be a painting, a piece of audio, whatever. Yeah, people can copy, but they're gonna have a copy of it, like you can copy a painting, but the original is yours.
Martians landed,
Yes.
wearing Prada suits,
Yes.
drinking Henry Seltzer,
Yes.
chewing juicy fruit.
Yes, and?
Your branding here,
Yes, brand.
your message here,
Yes, and?
a verse about
Yes.
your product here.
Yes.
I'm Hersh Redmond.
Yes, and?
I'm a message therapist.
Yes.
And I have a podcast.
Yes, brand.
That's right, that's it.
Yes.
We'll help you fix the world
Yes.
or your bottom line.
All right.
Your bottom line.
Get it. I get it. Welcome to the Yes Brand Podcast.
In the Yes Brand hot seat today is Roberto Capodiece. Roberto has a career spanning 3 decades in emerging technologies. He stands at the vanguard in the field of blockchain and decentralized systems. And you'll notice on our show, we're trying to talk to more people about blockchain because I think it's becoming preeminent and it's important to understand. An Italian national, Roberto has crafted a life that blends deep technological experience with an unwavering passion for digital innovation. His journey commenced in Italy. He grew up in the vibrant tech scenes of Florida, USA, and later flourished in Asia, particularly in Singapore and Bali, where he currently enjoys a harmonious balance of work and life. Roberto, welcome
Yeah.
to Yes Brand.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you. So, talk to us a little bit about your journey. You know, I introduced you with it. It sounds great when I talk about it, but I would love to get some context for this international man of technology.
Yeah. Since I was a little kid, I had this love and passion for invention, construction, building, technology in the wide sense of things, like mechanical things, etc., etc. And when I was toward the age of even before 7, I had already bases of computer programming, I had the basis of electronics and robotics. I was doing some stuff with other friends. And the choice to pursue one of these passion deeply came on the fact that with electronics, you need to spend so much time with the solder to remove components and redo things if you make a mistake. But with computer, just you need to, change one character in the code and you can try immediately again. So that was the most, most satisfaction. And that's where I started. Then I love telecommunication, control, remote access to things, and this is really what signed my career. So I did from developing video games to the consulting, software for companies, software for law enforcement as well. And in telecommunication, since the early days before the internet, by accessing network, packet network, and there were network called FidoNet through BBS, bulletin board system, people access with modem. So I've been through all these aspects until I, encountered decentralization through peer-to-peer network. It was BitTorrent that really caught my attention because it was this sort of things that live his own life, even though it's a computer system, a computer network, but cannot be shut down. It was very interesting because there is no leading computer in the network is maintained by people, and I found it very interesting. Eventually, this became also the technology to support the blockchain, which has been more, on the front page of the news as
Well,
a
now
technology.
let me stop you for a second because I think this would be a good opportunity to get kind of an overview of blockchain, what it means, why it's becoming more important now. But first, a little bit of for a layman who may be listening, for me, you know, I'm always interested in hearing from people who truly deeply understand it what it means to them.
Yeah, many people unfortunately connect the concept of blockchain with cryptocurrencies,
Yes.
and many times also not in the most positive way because there is a lot of scams and people lost money, etc., etc. Blockchain is a technology, it's like a database, so you cannot blame the database for the things that people build on top of it. And most importantly, it can be used for millions, I will say, other use cases that are very nice and good and can affect everyday's life beside cryptocurrency, which is just one of the use cases. Obviously, because you touch money, people is much more interested in. I always say
Yeah.
blockchain was invented for hairdressers. Probably nobody will know it today because it's been invented to do
Yeah.
electronic money like Bitcoin that we just so it reached more than $100,000 one. So there is a lot of attention in that aspect. But the technology on itself has this amazing thing that nobody really talk about or notice, and is in the age of information that we are living today, right? We went through the Stone Age, through all the different ages. Now the commodity is information, right? Since many years ago, and this information has been digitized, so it's no more analog. So if you have a newspaper on paper, if you have the newspaper on paper, you can read the news. If you don't have it, you cannot read the news, right? Or
Yeah.
if you have a painting and you give it to somebody else, you don't have it anymore because those are physical things. Even the music on vinyl discs, if you give it to a friend, you don't have it anymore. Now being digital is easy to copy and paste. So if you have an MP3, you don't need to remain without when you give it to a friend, right? You just make a copy, you give it to a friend.
Yeah.
A nice, beautiful image, digital image, you copy and paste. So what we lost is the value of an original, the value of the ownership of something. And the blockchain has this beautiful power that can bring back in the digital moment of the age of information the value of owning a piece of information, which can be a painting, a piece of audio, whatever. Yeah, people can copy, but they're gonna have a copy of it, like you can copy a painting, but the original is yours. And the blockchain has the capacity to create singularity, unicity, fantastic audit tracing, and digital identity signature for ownership of information. And if you think I cannot copy and paste a Bitcoin and give it to a friend, because if I could do that, Bitcoin would be worth zero today. The
Right.
fact that I give a Bitcoin to a friend, I don't have it anymore, is representative of this capacity that the blockchain has as value. You
Well,
apply it to
oh yeah, go finish what you were saying.
meaning you apply it to something like the NFTs, so you have the image of the monkey that people start paying a lot of money for, which is crazy. But
Yeah.
the value was that you are the owner of this piece of image. But you can apply in real life, it can be the ownership title of your car. So you can transfer the ownership title of your car to somebody else. And using the blockchain, you cut off the middleman. You cut off all the process and the need to trust on a third party to maintain the title ownership on the right person. So
And
this
this
is
is and this is the P2P, the peer-to-peer technology that can be so intricate, you know.
this is the fact that the paradigm shifts from as users going to somebody to say, manage my data, to directly manage our own data between the two parties that want to interact.
Yeah. Well, you also have, a lot of people are concerned about blockchain. A lot of people because to them it's newer but in fact it can help prevent scams. It can help. There's online cooperation. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Most people react with fear towards something that they don't know, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it make people miss opportunity. Think going even before blockchain. When BitTorrent came out, you remember people were downloading music and a movie from website like Kazaa, Napster, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And those were centralized. So law enforcement can easily go to these people, shut down their server, and there is no more distribution of movies. And so you had one central place to go. When BitTorrent came out, people start sharing files through BitTorrent. Okay. And there was no central point where you can go shut down BitTorrent. That was the magic things. The major of music movie, they made a huge mistake in my opinion, because afraid of this technology that they didn't understand, but that was supporting huge amount of piracy. They just wanted it to go away. So they start lobbying government, they start lobbying law enforcement to go and punish people that were using this technology. While, in my opinion, they should have served the wave and say, look, there is a network that allows to distribute our content worldwide to the most remote village in the most forgotten country. They only needed to put next to it a system for people to pay. Because most people will use it, and not because they didn't want to pay for it, but because they had no other ways to access that content. So, if giving a legal op- option to people, probably a lot of people would have used it, and they didn't even had any cost in maintaining the network, right? Because it was already supported by people. So blockchain had a similar effect on some government and country. They got super scared. They tried to block the functioning of it, or the access, or they made the law that says people cannot use it. Others, they still say, okay, maybe cryptocurrency is a bad thing, but let's invest in the technology because, in fact, cut cost, reduce error is much more powerful than many existing systems. And eventually, you know the history. So, as of today, they're up, opening to cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and now in the United States with the election of the new president, since there is a huge opening to cryptocurrencies, and many other countries gonna follow lead. So, it's going to be becoming something accepted, widely accepted worldwide, which is good. But what is important is that this should remove this black shame on a technology that is innocent from doing anything
Yeah.
wrong, and allow the adoption of this technology for many other aspects, all the bureaucracy, all the documentation flow, all the identification. There are tons of things that can be done in a way that is a little bit better. Not
Yeah.
absolutely the best, but can
But
make things
but
better.
even for daily life, just for, day to day, our regular life, this isn't something that, is just in a little corner, right? You see this as being a part of our daily interactions.
Absolutely. And indeed, I think that there is inevitability in moving toward the decentralized way of living life online. If you think there are things that were born decentralized and became decentralized, like emails. When emails
Yeah.
start being a thing, every office, every institution had their own small mail server. And
Right.
when you send an email to somebody else, it will go from your desk to the mail server of the office, and from the mail server to the company that need to receive the email mail server. And so there were like thousands of, millions of mail servers in the world that were talking to each other and giving email where the email were needed. Now, all the email of the planet are in the hands of four companies, if you think
Yeah.
10, if you want, like if Gmail, if it is
Right.
Outlook, if it is, Proton Mail or whatever, there are very few that manage the mail for everybody. This is no good because, okay, even in good faith, something happened to them, you remain without your email. But
Right.
emails is a protocol that is horrible, it's super old, is now secure and is transparent. So everybody has access to all the content of all our emails. So it's not good.
Yeah.
We need to re-decentralize this and implement a lot of solutions that now are centralized in a decentralized manner. So that's why this technology is important. They need to become better and better. Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about your brand, your career. What tell us some stories about your career in blockchain and decentralization.
I really been lucky to be in the right place at the right moment, I think.
Yeah.
I have a reputation to be the computer guy, I mean, the one that people call to fix their VCR because the light, the time was blinking and they didn't know how to remove it
Yeah.
since I was a little kid, right? And this helped in terms of work in my life, even with company. I never built a company huge, but about 70 people. So has dimensions are because probably I'm not very good in delegating. I don't know. So this is the limit before I start becoming too nervous. And in the terms of consulting, talking with the clients, I had a huge issue where the brand was myself rather than the name of the company that I was
Yeah.
creating, right? So every time people wanted me, I thought that this applies strangely even to a bar where the bartender is the reason the client goes there. The bartender change job, goes to the other bar, and all the client move to
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
bar, right? And this is, this is something that has been a little bit following me, that people wanted me, doesn't matter the brand or the company behind. But with this event of the blockchain starting 2015-16, I start creating this brand of this company called Blockchain Zoo that at a certain point has arrived to a level where people knew the name of the company and know me directly. But
Yeah.
I don't think I did strong, very good effort in creating a company brand that was, strong as much as my personal one that, on the other hand, has been always, lucky me, but following me since I was a kid.
So now where does it stand with your branding and your company?
And at the moment, the nice things when there is a strong reputation attached to, a technology field or something, right, that people can offer as a service, then clients comes to you. So you don't really need to advertise.
Right.
So I think at the moment is equivalence. The company has been put asleep for a couple of years just to
Yeah.
keep things more relaxed, but now it's restarting. And in fact, incredibly, as soon as I just made a small change on online presence of the things, I had a huge wave of people coming to me, say, now we can go back to work with
Yeah.
blockchains. So means that it was still power is still powerful. And I think for the value, he has a value that is very big. In fact, I guess people could sell just the brand in the moment that the brand is very well known in terms of, and I had people asking me to sell them the brand, which I didn't do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you're living in Bali now?
I live in Bali, which is a 2.5 hours flight to Singapore, where business is. But
Yeah.
we have only one life, so why not? Bali
Yeah.
is a
Well,
nice place to be.
it's a very good point, and it also speaks to your personal brand when you nowadays, because we're so reachable and we appear on so many different platforms. I feel like even if we're an executive at a company, our personal brand is the potential. The good news is it can be out there and help us. The bad news is we may be too available to people, but you have made the choice to live where you want to live, and you're not nomadic per se, but you have a base for business in Singapore and a base for life from which you operate your business in Bali. Why Bali? I mean, it's beautiful, but what drew you to it specifically for yourself?
Um, my life is completely random in this aspect. So
Yeah.
I was in Florida, and then I actually did a big project in California, a portal for musicians. And at the time, I met somebody online, and they stole my computer. I didn't remember the username of this person, and trying to find the person, I found somebody that was actually in Bali, and I became friend with this person in Bali. And one day I got upset with the client. I wanted to take a holiday. This person came online and says, "Do you mind if I come to Bali? Just help me out because I have no idea about places and things." And so I did. I flew to Bali. I fell in love with the place. And then after spending a winter in Europe, I thought my idea was because Bush had been re-elected. So
Right.
life wasn't the best in terms of, not
Right.
politically, but in terms of daily life, like it was going down respect to before. So I thought I go to live in China because it was going to be the next big power, but I
Yeah.
couldn't speak Chinese. So I said, I go to Singapore where probably I can learn Chinese. And from there, I didn't learn Chinese. And I was coming to Bali for holiday, for
Right.
weekends like this, until one day I pack everything and I moved to Bali. I said it probably is better to make base there and come to Singapore when there are meetings to be done, rather
Yeah.
than doing the other way around.
And
And
you
so I
never
did.
learned Mandarin? You never.
Yes, yeah, I can, I can say just the two important things. Ni hao.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
cannot. And no.
Okay. Well, before we go, just if you want to close us out with a word of advice for people who are only now getting involved in blockchain and decentralization, and they're learning about it, understanding it. What is the thing that we should be most excited about?
What to say? Is a technology that is going to be adopted into many of the things that we do online. Probably the best technology are the one that the user doesn't even know about. They're all behind the scene doing their thing. So many people maybe don't even know what is going to happen behind the scene. But it's interesting to learn a little bit. It's a fascinating method of interaction that doesn't use validation of data, but cryptography, which is mathematics.
Yeah.
It's a little bit complex, but it's beautiful once people learn about it. Is nonetheless. So just plenty of information online. There is YouTube that is full of video that explain what a blockchain is, and is a rabbit hole. So pay attention. I even have a book for free. People want to download it about blockchain. Just a search, easy to
Okay.
find in my website.
Well, we will include all of these things in our show notes. Roberto Capodiece, thank you so much for being on Yes Brand, and I look forward to talking with you again.
Absolutely, it will be an honor. Thank you very much.
All right.
If you liked the show,
Yes, and
it worked for you,
yes, then
subscribe and leave a
yes, friend.
5-star review.
Yes, friend.
Tell all your friends.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Did I make it clear?